Today, what I'm going to be talking about is how do we deal with the reality of hell? Hell is for all of those who deny Jesus. That's what he said. Hell is for those who deny Jesus. It's real, and there are those who do so. Perhaps a couple of weeks ago, you remember me mentioning that in John chapter 16, verse 9, Jesus said, and John quoted him, "The world's sin is that it refuses to believe in me." The world's sin is that it chooses to not believe that Jesus is for real. So what should we do with that reality? How should a person who is a follower of Jesus Christ deal with that reality of hell, that it's for real and it's for those who deny Jesus? Well, the answer is honestly very, very simple. We're supposed to do the same thing that God decided to do with that reality. You see, for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whosoever would believe in him would not perish, instead that they'd have eternal life. God knew that the world was filled with people who refused to believe in him, but rather than just saying, I sent a whole bunch of prophets, nobody believed in them, so go to hell. That's not what he did. Instead, he said, I'll send my Son. I'll send my Son to die for them. Before being crucified, Jesus was praying for you. He was praying for me. He was praying for all those other disciples. And one of the things that he said is something that every single one of us needs to hear, and it's John chapter 17, verse 18. Just as you sent me into the world, I am sending them into the world. This same place filled with people who refuse to believe in Jesus and instead deny him. The reality of that, what God did was send his Son into it, and now his Son is sending us. I get it. I get it. Hell is for real. It's for those who deny Jesus. So what should that reality do to me, to you? We should go into this world just like Jesus was sent into this world, and we should help to convince them that they're wrong, that Jesus is for real, that he really is the Messiah. And it's important that we do that. And here's why. There's another reality about hell that Peter mentions in this passage, and it's this. Hell is at work. Hell is at work. There are those who are working on behalf of hell really hard to put people in it. So what should we do with this reality, that hell is at work? Well, here's what we should do. We should join Jesus in his work to stop it. We should. Jesus was one of those guys who was consistently drawing lines in the sand and saying things that would kind of disturb people. Here's one that should disturb us. Matthew 12:30. Anyone who isn't with me opposes me. Anyone who isn't working with me is actually working against me. One day, Jesus is walking with his first followers, the very first group of guys, and he happens to be going through a region known as Caesarea Philippi. Jesus brings his followers to the most iconic place associated with hell, known as the gateway to hell, and then poses the question to them that ultimately will determine where people go, heaven or hell. And in an iconic response, very much like a rock, Peter says, "You are the Messiah, you are the Son of God." And Jesus responds with, "Yes, yes I am. And upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it." Now, I'm not going to diminish that what Jesus had to say to Peter about his nickname didn't have significance. Oh, it did. But let's not diminish what Jesus was saying at this moment and this time to the very first followers, the ones who were going to be responsible for building the church first. What he said to them, out of all places, the gateway to heaven, standing above the gateway to hell, I'm going to build my church, and that's how I'm going to conquer hell.